Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking this absolutely incredible ancient story that, honestly, might completely reshape how you look at the biggest problems in your life. You know how we usually see obstacles as just, well, things getting in our way, things that only bring stress and fear, but what if they're actually the exact vehicle for your greatest breakthrough? We're going to dig into a fascinating source text today that totally flips our understanding of hardship completely upside down.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Just think about it for a second. What if your biggest problem is actually your greatest blessing? Most of us, naturally, we pray for every obstacle to just disappear, right? We want that smooth, easy road. But sometimes the obstacle isn't removed at all. Instead, it gets transformed. So we're going to explore this really remarkable narrative from the Book of Tobit, where a terrifying obstacle turns out to be the exact answer to a desperate prayer.
All right, let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with a young guy named Tobias. He's traveling with his companion, Azariah, who, fun fact, is actually the Archangel Raphael in disguise. So, they're on this super long journey, and they decide to stop and rest by the banks of the Tigris River. It is a completely ordinary, peaceful moment. You know, the water offers some nice refreshment after days of walking, and there is absolutely zero reason to expect anything unusual or dangerous is about to happen.
But then, literally without any warning, everything changes. As Tobias steps into the river, this massive fish suddenly lunges right at him. I mean, just imagine the sheer panic. It's this terrifying, totally unexpected attack right in the middle of a calm, everyday moment. Instinctively, of course, Tobias cries out in fear. And honestly, who wouldn't? When danger just strikes out of nowhere like that, it completely shakes us to our core.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because there's this stark contrast in how to react. Human instinct is screaming at us to run, hide, escape, right? When we're threatened, our fear basically tells us that survival means getting as far away from the problem as humanly possible. But surprisingly, Raphael gives Tobias a completely counterintuitive command. He just tells him to catch the fish. He doesn't say to run. He doesn't say wait for it to swim away. He tells him to physically confront and grab hold of the very creature that just tried to attack him.
Then incredibly, Tobias actually trusts his companion. He pushes past his terror, catches the fish, and hauls it up onto the shore. But the surprises definitely don't end there. Raphael then gives him these, frankly, bizarre instructions. He says keep the fish, remove its heart, its liver, and its gallbladder, and preserve them carefully. Like, just picture this. You're standing on a riverbank, your heart is pounding out of your chest, and you're being told to meticulously harvest the organs of the monster that just tried to take you out.
At this point, none of this makes any sense at all. Tobias probably figured this was just some practical, if a little weird, travel advice from an experienced guide. He had absolutely zero way of knowing the truth. He didn't know that what looked like just an ordinary, dangerous fish was about to become the key to two extraordinary miracles. He was completely in the dark about the massive divine purpose these weird organs held for his future.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that divine purpose actually was. First, let's look at the heart and the liver. Later on in their journey, Tobias meets Sarah. She's a righteous woman going through unimaginable heartbreak, literally being tormented by a demon that killed her previous husbands. Raphael tells Tobias to burn the heart and liver. He does it, the demon flees, and Sarah is finally free. And then we have the gallbladder. When Tobias eventually gets back home, his father, Tobit, has been suffering from years of blindness. Tobias uses the gall to anoint his dad's eyes, and miraculously, his sight is completely restored.
Let's just pause for a second and really think about the profound spiritual irony going on here. The attack became the cure. The danger became the provision. The fear literally became the blessing. Think about it. Without that terrifying fish, Sarah might never have been freed. Without the fish, Tobit's blindness might never have been healed. If it wasn't for that super frightening interruption at the river, two incredibly desperate prayers would have just remained completely unanswered.
And that brings us to the core truth of this whole narrative. What first appears as a threat may actually become God's provision. The very thing Tobias was terrified of turned out to be the exact instrument of healing. And when we really look at this, we kind of have to ask ourselves, right? How often does this exact same pattern show up in our own lives? Because it's not just an ancient story, it's actually a blueprint.
Because let's be real, we all face our own modern fish attacks today, don't we? I mean, sure, you might not be fending off a literal giant fish in a river, but maybe you've been hit with a painful job loss, or a crushing disappointment, some unexpected delay, or just a deeply difficult season in general. And just like Tobias standing there terrified in the water, in the heat of the moment, we usually only see the attack. We get hyper-focused on the fear, the uncertainty, and the discomfort of it all.
Now, I want to be super clear about something here, and the source material heavily stresses this too. Real suffering is real, fear is real, loss is real. Looking for the blessing does not mean that every single hardship has some obvious, easy explanation, and it definitely doesn't mean your painful experiences should be minimized or swept under the rug. This text is never asking us to pretend the pain isn't there or demanding some kind of toxic positivity where you're just forced to smile through the tears. Not at all.
So the crucial point here is really how we define faith in the middle of all that harsh reality. Notice that Raphael never promised Tobias a challenge-free journey. Instead, he showed him exactly how to respond when the trouble actually showed up. And that distinction, it's everything. Faith isn't believing we're just magically never going to face difficulties. It's believing that those difficulties can be used for purposes that we just can't see yet.
Just play out a totally different scenario in your head for a second. Imagine if Tobias had just bolted. What if fear had won the day and convinced him to just leave that fish behind in the river? What if he'd ignored all those super strange instructions to harvest the organs simply because they didn't make immediate sense to him? Well, if he had fled, the miraculous healings that were waiting for Sarah and his father John the road would have never materialized.
This perfectly reveals what we might call the hidden mechanics of provision. So often, we pray for the problem to just vanish, to just be taken away, but we're actually being invited to discover the blessings hidden directly inside our struggles. The obstacle literally contains the opportunity. The battle is what prepares the breakthrough. And more often than not, the challenge you're facing right this very minute carries the exact resource you are going to need later on in your journey.
Let's look at how this builds over time, because timing is an absolutely crucial piece of this puzzle. Tobias didn't just immediately use the fish's organs. On day 1, he survives the attack and harvests them. But then, for weeks, he just has to carry them on his journey. He's probably thinking, why am I hauling around weird fish parts? It isn't until the future, at exactly the right moment, that the miracles finally happen. He had to carry that provision for a long time before its true purpose was actually revealed to him.
And here is an incredibly comforting truth we can pull from this text. Nothing God allows to shape your life is wasted when it is placed in His hands. That means that, just like Tobias carrying those organs, the endurance you're developing right now, the wisdom you are gaining through whatever hardship you're facing today, it's not for nothing. It's actively preparing you for a future trial, or maybe it's equipping you so you can help someone else down the road.
That giant fish at the river is this perfect reminder of one fundamental truth. Appearances can be deceiving. What feels like a total crushing defeat or some painful, terrifying interruption to your perfectly laid plans, it might actually be divine direction. It might just be the exact thing that marks the very beginning of your restoration. Crazy as it sounds, the thing you want to run from the most might be the exact thing that's building you up.
So, please, whatever you do, don't judge your entire story by one difficult chapter. This river crossing, it's not the end of your journey. As we've seen in the source material we unpacked today, frightening circumstances really can be turned into something life-giving. The situation that is making you want to turn around and run might actually be the very place where your future provision is being prepared for you. Which leaves us with this final, really powerful question to think about. Will you trust that your greatest blessing may already be hidden inside the challenge you're facing today? It's a pretty provocative thought to carry with you as you navigate your own river crossings in life. Hey, if this explainer strengthened your perspective, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives. And please share this with someone you know who might be navigating a really difficult season right now. Thanks so much for learning with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.